Hello and welcome everyone, welcome to my channel. In this episode, I'm gonna make some real talk. I'm gonna talk about my life, my experiences, and most importantly, about my learnings. First of all, why am I making this special episode about my life? It's because I want to share my most important experience with you. I want to share my most important life lesson with you because I would have wished I knew that years and years ago. But yes, sometimes you have to make your own experience in life, but you can also learn from the experience from other people. And I want to share this with the world and of course with you, the people watching this video. And yes, I hope you can just enjoy it and learn something, or yeah, maybe it's just for the entertainment, doesn't matter. I'm gonna talk about my most important life lesson that I learned so far. And that is, in short term, that expectations and judgments from other people can ruin your life. It can kill your happiness and your potential. And I will explain you this in detail in my video. So let's get started. Expectations are put into you by your parents, your family, your school, your teachers, or in general by society. It means that they expect something from you. They expect a certain behavior or they expect you to do something. And this is not generally a bad thing. I mean, expectations mostly have a good intention, but the problem is that they don't align with the thing you want for the most of the time. And so the expectations that other people put into you don't align with the goals that you have or with the expectations that you have from yourself. And this will cause an inner conflict in you and will make it difficult to meet those expectations for you. When you try to meet the expectations of other people, you neglect your own expectations. You neglect your own needs and you neglect your own goals. And so you only try to satisfy other people. And that's the problem. When I talk about my life, I tried to meet expectations of other people. I was influenced a lot by other people and I completely neglected my own needs and my own expectations, my own goal. So in fact, I was not living my own life. I was living the life of other people. And this was a big problem for my life because I never felt satisfied with that. It always felt wrong, but I could never tell why it was like that. I just found this out recently, like it took me so many years to learn this. And now you might ask yourself, oh Greg, why didn't you live your own life? Why did you meet expectations of other people? And why was this happening like that? And yeah, well, if I look back, it's probably because I was too shy to live my own life. I was too shy to stand up for myself. I always wanted to be nice to other people. I always wanted to be nice to everyone. And the problem is, if you are nice to everyone, you are not nice to yourself. That's a fact. And moreover, if you try to meet others' expectations, if you try to live the life of other people, that costs a lot of energy because you work against your own nature, because in your nature you want to live your own life. You don't want to live the life of other people. But this costs so much energy, and that's the energy that you are lacking. So now to the question, what do you really need to live your own life and to get freed of expectations from other people? And I think the most important thing is courage. You need to have the courage to stand up for yourself. You need to have the courage to do the things you want to do. And yeah, that sounds very simple and very easy, but it's like always, like in theory it's very easy, but in practical it's very difficult because the implementation of that is very difficult. You also need to be convinced of yourself. You need to be convinced of what you are doing, and you need to be convinced that you can do the things you want to do. You need the self-confidence that you know that you can do that, because otherwise you will never try it. When you want to live your own life, you need to have the courage to live your own life. You need to have the courage to make your own decisions, the decisions that you are convinced of, not the decisions that your parents want, not the decisions that other people want from you. You need to make your own decisions. You need to be convinced of what you are doing, and you need just to do it. You also need to get out of the comfort zone. Comfort zone feels very safe and everything feels great and nice and but it's not really the thing what you want. The thing that you want are most likely outside of the comfort zone. I'm talking of my own experiences. And it's not easy to get out of the comfort zone. I see that, and you will struggle from time to time. And you don't have to be afraid that you will get into struggling, because you will always struggle when you try something new. Always. That's always happening. And some people get encouraged when they try to do something new. The same with me. That happens when you start struggling a little bit and then you think, oh, I will give up and I can't do this, it's too hard. It always happens. It's very natural. But you don't have to be ashamed of that. It happens to everyone. Every successful person has been struggling in their life. It just happens to everyone. Nobody was born a hero. So in the end, you just have to do it. And what I also experienced is not everybody will like what you're doing. Some people will just laugh at you, or some people will say, oh my gosh, you're so stupid what you're doing. That's just normal. That happens. It will also happen to me. I'm sure that someone will tell me that. It's the normal way of life. You don't have to be everybody's darling. And I had to learn this the hard way, because I tried to be everybody's darling. I tried to be very, very nice to everyone. And yeah, the problem is that you are not nice to yourself in the end if you are nice to everyone. And another problem is the thing with the time passing. Like, if you don't live your own life, time passes very quickly. Like, everything feels so boring. And then 5 years pass by, 10 years pass by, and then you look back and then you think, oh, what did I do all those 10 years? And then you realize, oh, I wasn't living my own life. Like, this is crazy. Like, this also happened to me, and this happened to many other people as well, I think. But the difference is, like, time is neutral. Time passes anyway. But if you live your own life, you can make the experiences you like. You can look back at the time and you see all the good things that happen, or you see that you did what you really wanted. And this is the big benefit. This is the big difference, because we see time subjectively, like we feel time. Or in the words of Albert Einstein, like, time is relative. Like, time can pass by relatively. For example, when you were a kid and you had like less rules that you had to follow, like, time was passing much, much slowly. You were learning new things every day. From day to day, you were learning new things. You were making new experience. You were meeting new people. And this was making time passing so slow. And when you get older and like things get more boring, like you are working at the same place for years, you're meeting the same people for years. And so this has a really big impact on how time passes. And I experienced that myself. From the time I was like changing my life, I was like living my life differently, I realized that time was passing differently, that I can look back at that time and see, oh my God, I made this experience, I was doing that, I was doing this and that, and it feels so differently. So I'm coming to the end of my video. I hope you liked it. I hope you could enjoy it. And of course, I would have wished I knew all of those things like 20 years before, or at least 15 years before. But it is how it is. In the end, you have to make your own experience in life. Let me tell you one last thing. Never stop dreaming.